we are here to talk about the most common question I hear from my midlife female clients. Why can't I lose weight? Everything I did successfully in my 20s and my 30s no longer works. Why is that? Well, your body is changing both hormonally and metabolically. What does that mean? What used to work for us in our 20s and 30s will no longer work. We've got to change what we do. What we're going to talk about today are 5 primary reasons why it's so hard to lose weight in midlife. Number 1 is you're losing muscle. With age, you are losing muscle and gaining body fat just day to day, unless you do something about it. And we're going to be talking about that today. So why does this matter? Why does it matter that our body composition is changing? Well, muscle is your metabolic engine. So when you have less muscle, you are burning less calories. So you will need less to help you maintain, manage, and lose weight if you need. So what can you do about it? You need to prioritize strength training over cardio. The only way you're going to build muscle is by pushing resistance, pushing weights. And you need 3 times a week to build that muscle that is being lost. Anything less than that, you're only maintaining the muscle or you're going to continue to lose. So you really got to get that 3 times a week of full body resistance training. Too much cardio, you're going to break down that muscle even more. Number 2, your hormones are changing. As you get late into perimenopause through menopause, you're losing estrogen. Well, estrogen does a lot for our body. Number 1, it helps us maintain our muscle, which we just talked about how important that is, but it also helps to adjust where we're storing that weight that we are gaining. So what do we notice when we go into midlife? Instead of having that weight around our hips and thighs, like that pear shape, we now have it around our midsection, our belly, that apple shape. And that is because of that drop in estrogen. We are shifting where we carry that body fat, and that deep abdominal fat is more inflammatory, making it harder on our body functionally, but also in regards to that loss of weight. We also become more insulin resistant as we lose estrogen. So that means we're less metabolically flexible. It's harder to get into fat burning mode. We stay in sugar burning mode, and we store more fat around that menobelly area. And we're also going to notice a shift in our hunger. So as estrogen goes down, our hunger goes up. So we may even be eating more calories naturally because of that hormone shift. What can you do about it? Really, at this point, you're just naturally going to lose that estrogen. So you have to talk with your healthcare provider to talk about the pros and cons for hormone replacement therapy for you. Everybody is different in regards to what's best for them. Number 3 is you're probably eating too little and not enough protein. Let's face it, what are we told when we can't lose weight? Eat less, exercise more. So what do? We cut back on our calories, or we think we are, and that includes protein. Well, protein is the nourishment for the muscle that you're losing. So if you are getting in the gym and pushing that weight, we need the proper fuel to build that muscle, and that's protein. Protein also is your biggest blood sugar stabilizer. Remember, we also talked about metabolically, you're less efficient. You stay in sugar burning mode. You're more resistant versus receptive. So we carry more around the midsection. Protein helps us stabilize that blood sugar so that we can last longer without feeling that hunger, which also affects our physical and mental energy levels. And we also support our metabolism because protein, it takes a lot more calories to digest and metabolize protein than it does carbohydrates or fat. So make sure you're getting at least 25 to 35 grams of protein at each meal, ideally 3 meals a day, spread throughout the day about every 4 to 5 hours. And that is going to be dependent on your size and your activity levels and from whole food sources, because guess what? Manufacturers and companies are figuring this out. They're hearing about the importance of protein. So what do? You go to the Starbucks. You can get protein drinks, protein coffee drinks. You get protein waters. You get protein energy drinks. You get protein chips, protein cereals. Those are all processed foods, high sugar. That's not going to fuel your body with the nutrition and nourishment you need. So go back to whole food sources, grass-fed meat, pastured poultry and eggs, wild-caught fish, organic, non-GMO tofu and tempeh, beans and legumes. Number 4, stress. Stress and sleep disruptions. In midlife, we become less stress resilient. It doesn't take us a lot to throw us over the edge, right? Stress, we have 4 times the receptors for cortisol, our primary stress hormone, in our midsection. So if we are not emphasizing our recovery efforts and our stress resiliency efforts, that is going to make an impact on where we're storing our weight and our ability to lose that weight. Also, sleep. Sleep gets disruptive in this phase of life. So we need to prioritize 7 to 9 actual hours of sleep. Ideally, lights out, closest to 10 as you can, because your physical repair, when you are also creating and producing your anabolic build you up hormones, happens predominantly prior to midnight. So don't be that night owl who goes to bed at 1 or 2. Get to bed earlier. Really focus on getting your sleep and putting in some stress reset breaks into your day. So even just 3-5 minutes periodically throughout the day, just take a couple really deep breaths from your full lower belly and diaphragm. Maybe take a little meditation, do a progressive relaxation, journal. Do something that just gives you a little bit of a break during the day. You can also do some tracking. So I love the wearables because they really help us really see what is the quality of my sleep? How much deep sleep am I getting? How much REM sleep? How long am I actually sleeping? And then what is my readiness to exercise? What is my stress resilience? What is that heart rate variability or HRV? So it gives us some good ideas of what's actually happening. Number 5, you're eating too late into the night. So it's not just about what we're eating and how much we're eating. It's also when are we eating. Your metabolism, your digestion, and your metabolic efficiency or metabolic receptivity is greatest in the first half of your circadian day. That circadian day is sunrise to sunset. So what do we do often when we're trying so hard to lose that stubborn weight is we skip and skim all day long, and then we're starving by end of day. So we backload our calories, and that's when we are not metabolically strong. That is when we are less insulin receptive. The studies are showing it. It's showing, especially for midlife women, there is no benefit in regards to weight loss if we're backloading our calories. We really need to close that kitchen at 6. The studies are even showing that if we close it by 3, we enhance that metabolic receptivity. So we are more insulin receptive versus resistant. But how realistic is that? Bottom line, we just need to close that kitchen as early as possible. So in sum, we talked about the 5 primary reasons, but bottom line, your body is changing hormonally and metabolically, which means we've got to do things differently in regards to our own nutrition and lifestyle. So hopefully this opened your eyes. Please share it with any other women in your lives that could also benefit, that are struggling and are frustrated, just like you. Like my channel, subscribe so you don't miss any future content, and I will see you in the next video.